Rain is pouring in Puebla. A loose ball skids across the wet grass. Chivas goalkeeper Raul Rangel rushes out to clear the danger, but his cleats have way. He loses his footing, leaving the net completely abandoned, and Eduardo Mustre slides in to tap the ball across. 10 seconds of pure chaos. Down on the pitch, the Chivas players look entirely shell-shocked. It's 1-0 for La Franja, and the Guadalajara defense is left staring at the sky. But watching the replay in a vacuum misses the real story. For the entire first half leading up to this exact moment, Chivas commanded the game. They dictated the pace, controlled the ball, and suffocated Puebla. So how does a team in total control throw it all away in a single sequence? The slip on the grass is the breaking point for a team that has carried 4 matches of mounting psychological pressure onto the pitch. Stepping onto the pitch at Estadio Cuauhtémoc for Jornada 3 of the Apertura 2026, Chivas arrived under threatening clouds, both literal and figurative. Manager Gabriel Milito's squad hadn't won on the road in 4 consecutive matches. To break this statistical drought and locker room anxiety, he brought a 21-man roster to Puebla, heavily anchored by the return of Ángel Sepúlveda from suspension. Raul Rangel occupies the most vulnerable spot in this system as the last line of defense. The team's desperation to win meant his margin for error was essentially 0. This creates a phenomenon known as streak psychology. When a team is desperate to break a winless run, they start treating standard early game possessions as do-or-die moments. The need to score early transforms calculated strategy into high-stakes gambling. The opening whistle blows in a heavy, unrelenting downpour, instantly turning the pitch into a fast, slick, and highly unpredictable surface. Chivas immediately answers the pressure by pushing aggressively deep into La Franja's territory. They want an early lead to kill the narrative of their away game curse, committing bodies forward to suffocate Puebla's defense. It almost works. Roberto Alvarado finds an opening and fires a massive long-distance shot. It looks destined for the back of the net, but Puebla's keeper, Ricardo Gutierrez, pulls off a miraculous one-handed save to keep the game scoreless. The rebound stays live. The box turns into an absolute frenzy, culminating in Armando Gonzalez launching an aggressive header desperately blocked right on the goal line. This constant offensive pressure functions as a tactical trap. By pinning Puebla down, Chivas creates an illusion of control. They feel invincible in the final third, blinding them to the massive, unguarded spaces they are leaving exposed in their own backfield. As the half wears on, the penalty box becomes a shooting gallery. Chivas executes their build-ups perfectly, but the ball simply refuses to cross the line. The climax of this frustration hits when Armando Gonzalez rips another shot. In a bizarre freak accident, the ball ricochets squarely off the face of Juan Pablo Vargas and crashes directly into the woodwork. Meanwhile, Puebla embraces a clear counter tactic. They absorb the physical punishment, maintain their shape, and wait patiently for the storm to break. Instead, they are relying on momentum fatigue. When a team repeatedly executes perfectly, but gets denied by freak accidents and miracle saves, physical exhaustion is secondary to mental drain. The attacking side loses patience, defensive discipline erodes, and the entire formation creeps dangerously forward in search of that elusive goal. Suddenly, the tension snaps. Puebla clears the ball out of their own box and launches a rapid counterattack. They are sprinting into a Chivas backfield that has pushed far too high up the pitch. The heavy rain accelerates the ball as it skims across the slick grass. The Chivas defense is totally fractured, forcing an immediate, panicked calculation at the back. Rangel rushes out to sweep for a backfield left vulnerable by a team obsessed with ending their 4-game drought. He gambles on clearing it himself, and the wet grass wins the bet. The slip leaves the net wide open. Eduardo Mustre taps the ball in, putting Puebla up 1-0, completely against the run of play. The team's aggressive positioning invited this result. It was a structural failure, a choice to trade defensive stability for an offensive obsession. The halftime whistle blows. The Chivas squad trudges off the slick pitch, completely drenched, visibly frustrated, and trailing on the scoreboard. Up in the stands, their traveling supporters wave the red and white flags, expecting their early dominance to finally translate into points. The first half delivered a brutal lesson in football physics. Maintaining absolute control of the ball without finding the back of the net is simply a ticking time bomb. In the second half, the squad faces a test of mental endurance as they attempt to overcome the mounting psychological weight of their own winless